makes her appear masculine? Is it because she's not wearing makeup? Is it because she has on a t-shirt and she doesn't have on a wire bra, sticking her boobs up, poking them out, and a little tight dress with some shapewear with her nails done? You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, the shit doesn't matter. But hello everyone, welcome to my channel for anyone who's new, and welcome back for anyone who's returning. My name is Michelle. In today's video, we are just going to be talking about femininity coaching and how it directly is targeting Black women and the issues that exist around that, and why I find it problematic, as well as just some solutions on how not to fall into that. So that's why today I'm not like super quote unquote feminine presenting. I'm just chilling. I feel like it is feminine presenting because there's no one way to be a woman or to define a woman, and I think that every person, whether you be man or woman, that already exists within you, both masculinity and femininity. And I think it's fair that this specifically targets a group of women that no matter what they do, it's not going to be seen as enough for them to be a perfect romantic partner. And when you start to think about how taxing it is on, one, your pockets, two, just your spirit, even if you watch it, as a matter of fact, if you just stop right here, you know, pause me, put me aside, pick up your phone and go on YouTube and look up Black femininity coaching, or go to TikTok and look it up. I just feel like it's unfair to tell people that who they are is not enough. And I realize that I also have kind of not purposely lived by these ideals, but I feel like a lot of older Black women, they do kind of teach this same mindset of femininity being the key to your complete happiness, and it's really not. I know that some women enjoy being glammed up more than others. I know I enjoy it sometimes, not as much as I used to, because when I really started to get to the root of why I always wanted to look quote unquote more feminine, that led me to be in wigs, be in a full face of makeup all the time, to be in skirts, dresses, whatever, all these things that I wasn't always happy with doing, or that I wanted to do my own way. So like, if I wear a dress, I don't really care for this new age of fashion where every dress has slits on the side. No, I want a regular dress that fits me nicely and is past my knees. And I'm a little bit over 5'8", so I lost my train of thought because one of my neighbors is yelling, so you may hear him, and I do not have another time to film right now. But yeah, he does this every single day, pretty much. So all right, so what I was trying to say that you should look at on YouTube for examples of, well, to me personally, when you watch those maintenance vlogs and the women spend like $1,000+ for all of these things about themselves, that not always, but for the most part, it is for their partner or whoever they're romantically interested in, or if they're single, just to say like, I'm approachable, I'm valuable as a woman. And I mean, I think that looks fade easily, and more now than ever, we live in a very superficial society. Everything based around social media, whether it be business, or again, an example like with the feminine coaches, is that people pretend that they're happy, living up to whatever standards that society has set for them. And we know when we talk about beauty standards that it goes back to white people and Europe and those standards that they set, and how every rule of our society, pretty much the main things that we follow, we know were written by white men. So let's just get into it. I wasn't really sure how to properly define femininity coaching, but I'll just read what I see right here and then try to give a breakdown of how I interpret it. And it says that femininity coaching encourages women to practice a version of femininity or feminine energy, which is not truly authentic to them and is rooted in ideas about respectability, which are deeply exclusionary. And why I find the last two words, deeply exclusionary, important to this conversation is that when we talk about the beauty standards that exist, when we talk about dating and love, anything romantic, anything that means respectability to women in dating, Black women are not a part of that conversation, because we are not ever even considered, even if it's by Black men. I have seen, especially like in college, I did go to a PWI, and there were a lot of Black male athletes, and they would sleep with the Black women and disrespect them all the time, but they would never do such a thing to the white woman that they dated and wanted to marry or got engaged to, or whatever they did, or probably are still dating. I feel that we are constantly scrutinized about everything that we do. So for example, even just having locks. Every time people see a Black woman with locks, they automatically assume that she's gay. But where did this narrative of her being gay come from? What makes her appear gay? What makes her appear masculine? Is it because she's not wearing makeup? Is it because she has on a t-shirt and she doesn't have on a wire bra, sticking her boobs up, poking them out, and a little tight dress with some shapewear with her nails done? You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, the shit doesn't matter, but people spend so much time, money, and effort that they cannot get back to live under standards that they will never meet. And it's really the same for Black people in general in this country, but this is just one aspect that I'm tired of seeing. And maybe it's because I probably a couple years ago would have considered the thought of, you know, what is femininity, and I think that it's so interesting that this is still a thing when it feels like we've moved past it. But I realize too is like right now, I guess it will always be a trend to over masculate Black women, because I don't want to insert any clips of certain people, but if you've watched YouTube long enough, or a certain YouTuber, or even with TikToks, like the things that people are willing to do to be considered worthy of love, and it not even be the type of love that they need as an individual, if you just strip away the femininity, I think that it just excludes other groups of people as well into the conversation of what it means to be a good partner. And I think that it also reinforces this role that people love for Black women to play, which is the nurturer. And it's almost as if people want to trick Black women into thinking if you are not nurturing and taking care of everyone else, then you're not going to be worthy of love. But it's just like, if you are lazy, if you, not even lazy, if you know how to say no, if you don't want to dress up every day, If you don't want to be cooking for a man, cleaning for a man every day, you don't have to, and it doesn't make you any less of a woman, because yeah, womanhood is defined differently, and I think that femininity and masculinity also are defined differently. And yeah, I'm just tired of this empty conversation on how all of a sudden, if a black woman transforms herself into this version that half the time she is not even really happy with, because it's not really getting to the root of anything. So my next point that I wanted to bring up, because I see a lot of people tying the phrase self-care into their pursuit of femininity. And when I think of self-care, I think of staying my ass in the bed, spending time with loved ones, reading, just resting. And before, I would have defined self-care as going to get a mani-pedi, going to buy makeup, doing hair removal, just everything under the sun. And I realized, especially through my partner now, that wasn't the best version of self-care for me individually, because I have so many other factors at play. And I know people who don't have a lot of money, and honestly, I don't know who does besides the wealthy right now. But to think that people will spend, and I have done it, will spend most of the money that they don't have and that they need for experiences or for survival, to live up to this image that like literally no one really cares about. And when I realized, I'm not saying that no one cares, obviously people care, like society cares what you do because you're black, but more often with black women, it almost feels like when you start to get into black femininity coaching, it almost feels sometimes like self-harm, because there's no reason why you should be pulling your edges off because you are impatient about getting a wig off. When you do wear those wigs, let your scalp breathe, let your scalp just get some air. One thing I keep seeing with everyone trying to embrace their femininity is acrylics, glued down wigs, hell, even with plastic surgery, which I won't really get into in this video, but it's just like, to me it becomes self-harm when you're panicking because you don't have these things, or you're willing to sacrifice more important things to for this false narrative of landing a rich man, or of being taken care of. And you are already taking care of yourself probably way better than anyone else can. And people tend to think that when someone has money, they'll take care of you. That's not true. You could be dating someone with money, does not mean that they're going to spend the money on you the way you probably are hoping, through them being attracted to your feminine energy, quote unquote. I feel like people should watch the show Marrying Millions on Lifetime, and then take into account femininity coaching, and if it's really worth it, or if adopting all of these values that you don't really care about. Because one thing I do know is that there are some women I know, is very few to none, when we adopt these ideas about ourselves and about what we should look like, what we should wear, how we should talk, we get that from our families, from our peers when we're in school, or just society, even when you're at work. But to me, it falls short every time, because what do you do? I want to ask all of the women who wear the wigs, a full face of makeup every day. You get your kitty cat and armpits and the full body waxed. You're doing laser hair removal. You're doing acrylic on your nails and feet, right? By the time you do all this, did it attract the person that you want? Do you think that you get treated better? Because I know a lot of women who do all of this, and when they go out, or if they're seeing people, these men are not treating them better. They're not saying, oh, she looking good, extra good today, let me go take her to dinner. No, half the time it's no benefits to this besides the fact of you not feeling like an unacceptable Negro, for real. And it just blows my mind that how Black women are convinced that all of this is needed. And then it just makes me also think about how my girlfriend and I always talk about, her more than me, but she talks about how Black people have all of the buying power still, which we know. And when I think about how much Black women invest on self-care, not to say Black men don't, I'm not really sure, but like I said, knowing that people are doing $1,000 plus vlogs, like maintenance vlogs every month, or they can't afford to do it every month. And for me, if you can't do it every month, it's not worth doing. Or you need to do a toned down version. But let's move into like the motivation of why people continue to fall for this. So I think that the reason that, especially this past year now more than ever, or maybe these last few years, Black femininity coaching has become much bigger because of just the continuous popularization of social medias. And also, again, going back to how Black women are not valued. And this femininity coaching that exists, that we keep seeing, is targeting Black women. And I find it so funny that there will be these women online giving tips on how to find a high value man or high quality man through dressing up, and sometimes living beyond your means, if I'm being quite honest, because again, self-care goes into your health and mental health and well-being. And if you're pulling your edges off to put a new wig on, and you ain't even gonna wash your hair and let it breathe for a day or two in between, is just like very telling of the times. And I don't know in what way, shape, or form Black women are taught to truly think that they are okay. And I feel like I'm the biggest example. And I'll insert clips of me being quote unquote more feminine. Like at one point I was doing it all as well, full face of makeup, nails and feet done. I could never afford it, ever. And so eventually I just stopped, because one, again, going into self-care, I have to work on like budgeting and my mental health and everything else before I start to say, well, does putting on some gel nails that cost me $100 truly make me happy, when I love photography and I could use the $100 to add to my portfolio by doing another project? Like, when you start thinking about how much time you will be with yourself, especially now after COVID, I know that people could go out, but I feel like for the most part, people are mainly alone. And I get that the goal of doing all of this is to not be alone, but I don't be seeing none of these feminine coaches talking about how they got a high value man. So make sure that you are aware of what you want as an individual. And also, like I said, looks fade. Women do get what they want sometimes when they present themselves not superficially, because like I said, some women truly love just the idea of getting glam, but for the most of us, we know that like you're doing it because you don't want someone to say like, oh, she's looking manly today, or she isn't cute. And I get how easy it is to put on a full face of makeup, a dress, and know that, hello, if I go out, I'm gonna get other people keep buying me drinks. But it's also like, at what cost? Like, did you really want to do all of that? Do you really feel confident in yourself? And once you do all of the things that you're being taught to do, doesn't make you happy. Are you truly happy? Did you truly get what you want? And are your deepest wants and deepest needs met by the person you are trying to attract through, I don't want to say superficial, but yeah, it is superficial, because again, everyone has masculine and feminine energy. And I know for me, my masculine energy, it may come out more at work versus home, but I just feel like everyone has it there, and it's not true to yourself if you sit and say that, okay, I don't have this masculine side. I feel like to stay balanced, you need to understand both and embrace both, and just love yourself wholly before you decide to change what makes you comfortable. I don't have much more to add right now. We know that this exists because of structural racism in America, so I just want anyone who is watching to do what's best for you, what makes you the most comfortable, what doesn't make you tired, what doesn't drain your bank account. Like for me, when I want to feel cute, I have my little kit. I'll do my nails and feet at home if I really want to. I threw all my wigs out, so this is just me straight up all the time now. I just wear my locks out. But make sure that if you do follow any of the things that they tell you, that it's genuine to you as a person, not to what you think is what society wants you to have. People don't talk about that part of yourself that gets tired of dressing up, getting glam, blah 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 blah. And if you enter into a relationship with this standard of always looking quote unquote presentable, when you are tired and you're not in a full face of makeup and you're not in the dressing heels with a fresh wax and blah 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 blah, if you are treated less than, then I think that answers your question on if this coaching is even worth it. That's all I have to say, and I'll see you in my next video.